We are live. I think we're live. Holding down the fort for Tom while he's in transit yet. I don't have the music up. I am so fired. I am so fired. How's it going, everybody? Oh, it's Tuesday. It's 6:14 Eastern Time. It is 3:14 on the West Coast, 5:14 Central, 4:14 Rocky Mountain Time. How's it going this glorious day? 12:14 London, Greenwich Mean Time, UK time. For our international listeners, Chef Carolyn's in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? Yeah, I am so fired. Tom's going to fire me again because I went live without him to. But he told me to hold on the fort till he got here. He's in transit so far. He'll be along shortly. How is everybody doing? Tuesday. It's Tuesday. The lesser known. That was the working title of the Mamas and the Papas song, Tuesday. Didn't work out so well. And I am breaking in a new keyboard. Hoping I don't bring up any adult material because that would be bad. So, yeah, we have got a cavalcade of whimsy going for it, us people. And Tom's about to message me on Facebook. If you got scripted Jake there, go for it. Should be home in 2 minutes. Well, I don't have anybody. I'm flying solo. But the show must go on, Tom. The show must go on. The show must indeed go on. Rob alone, oh dear, yeah. Yes. This could only lead to trouble, can it? Chef Carolyn, the Bad Batch sucked. I am live, Tom. I am live and loving it. I am live and loving it. Everybody, Jake Bentley will be with us shortly. And we're trying to find Script Doctor, wherever he may be. But for now, it's you got me. You got yours truly. Little old me. Going through all the happenings in pop culture. Pirates and Princesses is okay. There's actually some juicy rumors here that we're gonna go over. Let me see. Walt Disney rumors. Let's go in the rumor section. Now, this is, like I said, this is just a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. People, don't get too excited because, as we all know, yeah. How do you Hey, Dash Dees is here. Tekkaman Blade is here. Anonymous Gamer, Zontar. Did I see the Picard leak yet? No, I have not. Oh, no. I may be headed for an aneurysm live on the air. That's never a good thing. Tekkaman Blade, like Bad Batch better than 2. Is Bad Batch is that the latest? Is that the greatest? Is that the only? Let me see. We're going to share a Chrome tab here. Oh, I'm getting latest theme park news. Oh, how about that? See that, people? Carol Danvers being phased out? Monica Rambeau being phased in? Oh, boy. Hey, who's coming here? Jake, we are joined. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Jake the Rampage, the nickname Bentley. How's it going, Jake?
It is going solidly okay. How about you guys?
Oh, how about me, guy? That is.
Yeah. Oh, all right. It's just a two-man.
It's just a two-man show. Well, yeah. Tom is literally in transit. He is on his way, as we all see. As he, I don't want to accidentally remove you from the thing here, but.
So. I'm good with it. What are we talking about here?
We're talking about this deal here. Well, so far,
Carol Danvers being phased out of the MCU. Sign me the fuck up.
Exactly. Rumor: Carol Danvers being phased out of the MCU. Monica Rambeau in as Captain Marvel. We have to in as Captain Marvel. Had to ask that as a question. Please note that the following article is a rumor, so please take the following with a grain of salt. With Marvel recently unveiling their upcoming lineup of films for Phase 4, I'll ask your opinion about that in a moment, Jake.
Okay.
In the cinematic universe, many new films have names titled have been dropped: Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man, Wasp, Quantumania. You know what? I love that rock opera with the Who, Quantumania. It was. Let me tell you that the whole "I'm free" to that's one time played that silver ball. I love that Quantumania. Is it that's Remy, right? Quantumania. No,
I have no idea. I am not the musical connoisseur that you are. You want to know something about pro wrestling? I'm your guy.
We have Captain Trek became a YouTube member. Thank you, Captain Trek. Quadrophenia. Okay, never mind. So I went a long way for that joke.
God, I'm so glad I didn't pretend to know what the fuck you were talking about. I would have looked dumb. I'd have been like, oh yeah, I remember that album, and then we would have been corrected, and I would like, you made an innocent mistake. I would have had egg on my face.
No, it was no mistake. Okay, let's continue on this. But in the title for the Marvels, the S at the end was in the style of the old lightning bolt that Carol Danvers used to wear when she was known as Ms. Marvel and when she was hot and when she liked being hot. My interjection. Same with the current iteration of Ms. Marvel, which is in the Kamala Khan, which is a self-insert for Sana Amanat, who will also make her appearance in the film, played by actress Iman Vellani, along with Monica Rambeau, played by Teyona Paris, in the recent TV series Big Pile of Shit for an Ending. Oh, I'm sorry, WandaVision. A number of recent rumors have suggested that due to Brie Larson being considered a controversial figure for the MCU and a shit actress, my interjection, dividing fans of the MCU for a portrayal of the character and a number of her political comments rubbing people the wrong way, that she will be retired from the role. But because Disney doesn't like bad PR, they will most likely have her character be phased out, with a new character taking her place, while Brie would be move on to the rumored Star Wars: The Get High Republic. And we've just been booped here. Hold on. Oh my god! Oh, I was about to say there's two Borises in the stream.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, Jake.
How's it going, Tom?
I'm feeling better now that Jake from Allstate is here. Or whatever it is.
Yeah. So this is
Farmers. Jake from Farmers. Sorry.
State Farm, you mean?
Whatever it is. They're not sponsored.
Farmers Insurance. Bum 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 bum.
Wait. Does this mean I'm J. Jonah Jameson?
Jake from State Farm. Yeah.
Insure me pictures of Spider-Man.
I want Spider-Man. He's a menace.
I don't think there has been any better casting, any guy more suited for a certain role than J.K. Simmons was for J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, hell no.
I mean, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is the closest.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
I remember when people, when it first started circulating, Robert Downey Jr. was cast as Iron Man. And it's like, oh, people are going to hate this. I'm like, why? Why would they hate it? Oh, because Robert people say they don't like him. And I said, listen, Tony Stark is an angry drunk. What better person to play Iron Man than Robert Downey Jr.?
That was my thought. I was like, okay, they went and found somebody, like they found a rich alcoholic.
Typecasting.
Yeah. They knew what they were doing.
Don't people want the person playing the part to actually be the same thing as the character now?
Ideally.
$2 from Zontar. Pinged Picard leaks to Tom's Twitter. Uh-oh. All right, let's finish this and then we'll...
Wait, Zontard's leaking Picard nudes on Tom's Twitter?
That's... Why are you leaking my nudes? Who the heck is it? Andre, add the stream. Andre!
Rob managed to start the stream without me.
Yes, it's a miracle.
He's growing up.
And we have
awesome.
and YouTube hasn't banned us yet, so that's a good sign.
Always a good sign. I should absolutely say.
Yeah, but I didn't have the theme music, so I had to kazoo it.
Okay.
So, but
I don't know how to get into the brand.
I saw brand here. I'm like, what's this?
It's in the videos.
Yeah. Now I see it. Okay.
It's in the one that says MEAD intro. Yeah.
yeah.
Then we got Gypsy Warrior coming in with, was curious if you guys have seen the Batman Dead End. Yeah, I saw it years ago. What about you guys? The fan film.
Saw it, loved it.
No, I need to see this.
It's one of the second favorite fan films I've seen because it's so cool because it has Batman fighting the Joker, and then all of a sudden, is it the Alien or the Predator that shows up? Or is it both?
I believe that one's the Alien one, and then they did one later on with Predator, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Maybe both. You could be right. It's been a while.
The only thing that was cooler than that was the fan film of Jason Voorhees versus Scorpion from Friday the 13th. No, sorry, versus Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. That was also pretty freaking badass.
Right,
so those two are a league of their own.
Dash D's Canadian $5.
Speaking of, go ahead.
Here's what I think of Captain Marvel in 1494. May 4, Chris Columbus discovered Jamaica. I don't get it. May 4. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
May 4th, 1494.
Yeah, speaking of May the 4th be with you. Hey, Jake, I believe this is the first time.
I was just going to say, I don't think Andre and Jake have ever met in all the years.
We have not. Yes.
So yeah, I just hopped on the stream. So yeah, it's a pleasure to see you here. So
Tom, he hopped on the stream because Tom was in a panic. Quick, Rob's alone. We can't let him. We gotta have someone rein him in.
We can't have Rob by himself.
YouTube is gonna take this down.
But
red alert.
But this is what I think, Jake, and you'll like this. This is what we all think of Brie Larson.
Accurate.
Yeah. Some speculate how Carol Danvers would be phased out of the MCU. In the original comics, the character of Carol Danvers was temporarily in a coma due to being touched by the character Rogue, who temporarily gained some of her powers. If Rogue makes an appearance in the film, this might be a possibility. Another thing, series suggests that Carol would sacrifice herself and that Monica Rambeau, the first female Captain Marvel from the comics, would take over the mantle. These are all just rumors at the moment. Brie Larson is still confirmed to be returning as Captain Whammon for the Marvels. But the likelihood that she would rather pursue a role at Lucasfilm is there. I think she wouldn't turn down the chance to ruin Star Wars as well.
Why would she turn that down?
I get to ruin another symbol of the patriarchy because you have to realize that this is the 21st century and we all are equal now. And, we have to spread the equality all over. Oh, okay.
The Captain Marvels.
Captain Marvels. Cesario JPN.
Isn't that stupid that that's the name of the next movie?
The Marvels?
It's Captain Marvels. Because there's plural Marvels. So
it's a sequel, so there's more than one. That's how.
That's more than one. That's plural.
Mm-hmm.
They're polyamorous.
So we asked a very astute gentleman his opinion on this title. We ran this by him, and this is what he had to say.
You serious?
Wait a second.
Rob's got control of the buttons.
It's a wonderful day to push a button, TM.
I had no idea what I was doing.
So, Tom, what you're saying really is,
fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
No, but I know what it was like when you discovered the soundboard. Cesario JPN.
This is so much better.
Says enjoying #May the 4th be with you with some classic Star Wars fan films, Troops, Chad Vader, etc. Shame Disney can't do the same with bigger budgets.
See now, I tried to celebrate. I know I said I wouldn't spend money on Star Wars crap again, but Battlefront and Battlefront 2 were staring me on my Steam wish list, and they're only $3.99. I was like, ooh, that might be too, just to have them in my library. That might be too good to pass up.
I've got the first one on PS4, and the only reason I got that one is because it had the VR session for Rogue One, which the first time I played it was fucking awesome. The second time I played it, I got sick. From motion sickness.
Yeah, VR does that to a lot of people, actually. So,
well, I was spinning around too much. Isn't that how you use VR? What was that, Jake?
Isn't that how you use VR? You just put the headset on and just start spinning around until you.
Well, I took too much advice from young Anakin. Nikki D sends in $5. Thank you so much, Nikki D. Says, do you guys think the MCU's Phase 4 is just stopgap to more interesting properties in Phase 5, e.g. X-Men, Fantastic Four, etc.?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Jake about that. Yeah, the Phase 4. What's his opinion on that? That's actually a good segue. Good question.
It is.
Jake?
Yeah, I think this is a come down, a come down, a
rebuilding era.
Right, because we started off by introducing everyone. We went through the Ultron stuff in Phase 2. Phase 3, we got hit with Thanos. Like, we can't jump from Thanos to like, oh, guess what? Galactus is we need a come down phase. We need to bring in something that
we're getting Mrs. Doom, aren't we?
Is it Doom? I wouldn't want them to do Doom yet. Like Doom.
Yeah, but not only that, it's Mrs. Doom, I think.
Really, they're gonna make Dr. Doom Dr. Doom.
That's the rumor going around.
Doctors can be women these days.
Well, I know that, but
Cheeks can do stuff.
But if in Marvel's case, it would be Dr. Doom, not just Dr. Doom.
So Dr. Doom is like one of I have 3 Marvel characters that like I love these 3 characters, and Dr. Doom is one of them. And if they gender swap Doom, I think I'm out.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Perfect. Yes, that will be me if Dr. Doom is a lady. And it's fine. You want to if it makes sense to gender swap a character, fine, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but there's no reason they're doing it. That's other than just to do it,
right?
Just to acquiesce to whatever wokey people there are out there, the wokies. The Wokey Wokes, or whatever it is. Look at us. We're so progressive. We have a female Dr. Doom. Yeah, but
it's also half Inuit, half Asian, and half black.
Played by Peter
Dinklage in blackface.
Yes.
We know. No, I kind of agree with you to a point, Jake, but I also feel like what happened was, and we brought this up in our video that dropped earlier today. I think a lot of Marvel got thrown off because of the whole James Gunn getting fired. I think he was meant to take over the cosmic side of things, and when that got thrown into a tizzy, they didn't know what the hell was going to happen. Then next thing you know, they buy Fox. Mm-hmm. So I think like 2 or 3 things happened in the process of all this that really shifted and probably changed the direction of where things were going to go. Because remember, though, for the longest time, they kept saying, "Oh, Captain Marvel is going to be the center of this universe," right?
Right.
Yeah, that was true right up until the point where it no longer was.
Yeah. Exactly, as you like to say. So yeah, I feel like that's where they're at right now. So now they're just kind of scrambling to try to readjust everything, because Guardians 3 was supposed to come on the front end of all this shit, not the back end. Like that's where I think everything kind of got thrown into a big, huge mess. What do you think, Andre?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that, honestly, I think it destroyed the MCU in a way. I think it really did, because James Gunn, he was supposed to take over, and we were supposed to have had Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3 already, and then there was supposed to be a whole cosmic universe after that, but that didn't happen. We're still like a year, 2 years away from Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3, and still nothing of the cosmic side beyond Thor, Love and Thunder.
And the
And we
Eternals.
haven't heard anything, and the Eternals. And I don't think that James Gunn had anything to do with that. So honestly, I think that if James Gunn had been there, we right now would have been super excited about Annihilus and all of that awesome Marvel cosmic stuff, and we're not getting any of that now. Really, I think that the firing of James Gunn, and more importantly, him being picked up by DC and then being out of commission for 3 years, no matter what, I think it in some sense actually destroyed the whole of the MCU, because now is when we have the stopgap thing. Imagine if that hadn't happened. We would have had these really, really boring super rogue stuff in the Earth realm, which would have been fine because we would all have been excited about the cosmic stuff. Mm-hmm. Now we don't have that cosmic stuff to be excited about.
Well, the cosmic stuff we're getting is the Eternals. I mean, so
that's what I mean. Yeah.
And who the hell's excited for that? I mean, they couldn't even show anything of it in that manipulative, emotional thing that they put out there yesterday.
I think they're embarrassed by it.
Honestly, I think so too.
Really?
I do. I think I think they're. Well, yeah, I know you're being sarcastic, but no, I really do. I think they're so embarrassed by it, and I don't think the Eternals was something that was meant to be. Because again, I reiterate, they've tried so many times to making, the Immortals and the Eternals. They're going to try and set them up as the new mutants, but now they got the mutants. This movie was shot before they even had Fox, or at least it started development. I can't remember if it was in the process of, but still.
Well, I said 5 or 6 years ago on a podcast with Jake that I think they were going to do an Eternals movie, but at the same time, I thought it was going to be a lot cooler than what they're doing now.
Well, what pisses me off more is they kind of lied to us by trying to say, "Oh, it's going to have Jack Kirby all over it."
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any freaking Jack Kirby there so far. But again, I could be wrong because they haven't showed us anything.
No, what they did show is it just looks like any kind of generic please save my farm movie, but people staring off into the sunset, in the mountains.
It actually looks worse than that. It actually looks like movies trying to be Marvel movies. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a franchise. Have you even seen this shit yet, Jake?
I saw the teaser video that they put out.
So you have seen the what they look like, yeah.
Yeah. What's his name from Game of Thrones?
Looks so Jack Kirby to you, don't it?
And the thing is, he's not the real
Jack Kirby.
He's not even going to be the main character.
I heard that
because he's just a white dude.
Well, they can't deny this shit no more. They pulled down this calendar from, I think it was Amazon or Barnes and Noble or some shit.
Man, I don't recognize who most of these are supposed to be.
Well, the guy up front is Icarus.
Yeah, him I kind of figured.
Yeah. Icarus has long, blonde, flowing hair, though. I mean, for God's sake. Stephanie Janacek, Smokeless Cantina, $3.99. Hello, boys. Thank you.
I think what they're trying to do is Guardians of the Galaxy was just this off the wall hit, and they changed Guardians of the Galaxy a lot to kind of fit a more movie friendly, type of feel to it. And I think
that depends on exactly which team of Guardians of the Galaxy you're referring to, because this wasn't based on the original Guardians of the Galaxy, but rather the second team.
Right, yeah.
The 2000s run.
It still was colorful. It was, it was over the top, so it had a lot of Kirbyisms in it, so.
Yeah, but it just feels like this is like we threw spaghetti at the wall one time with Guardians of the Galaxy and it worked out great. Let's do it again. It's going to work the exact same way.
Yeah, but you got James Gunn there. There's a big difference.
There's a huge difference there, yeah.
Massive difference. Whereas this thing right here, the only thing that I see that's remotely Kirby here is some of the patterns. And that is one thing I will give Thor Ragnarok loads and loads of kudos for. They went all in on the Kirby designs. And I would like for them to do the same thing here, and maybe they will in the designs, but then you look at the characters, and then any joy over designs, they kind of go away. And like these colors and everything look so incredibly bad to me. But
This
yeah.
looks really generic. This looks like
Yeah.
this looks like an 80s sci-fi movie.
Worse.
Yeah.
Looks like something out of the
Worse.
90s, actually.
I was about to say it looks like 90s sci-fi, which was a million times worse than 80s sci-fi. I mean, 80s sci-fi used like practical effects. In the 90s,
Yeah, this looks like a
they
step up.
had.
I was just gonna say a step above, like fucking Lost in Space type shit,
A
You know what
step
this-
above that? I don't think that. I think you're
or maybe
being
a step
generous.
below. Yeah, you could be
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
This looks like a space-themed cult has a band and they put out an album.
Okay, Jake's the big comic book expert, and he's I want to ask him this. Jake, what do you think is holding up a Nova movie?
Probably general interest, I would think. Now that
You know the answer, Rob.
what's that?
Rob should know the answer.
I know because he's a straight white man, right?
No, because he was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and they didn't get to go to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Everything got thrown out of whack.
Nova was Richard Ryder. Richard Ryder was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Or I'm thinking of never mind. I'm thinking
Adam
of
Warlock.
Adam Warlock. Never mind.
Okay. Well, yeah, Adam Warlock should have been in this phase. We really should have.
Well, wasn't he teased though in the first Guardians of the Galaxy though? And
yeah.
But again, he was teased at the end of the second one. We see him there. He's even given the name Adam, like the gold.
Adam
man.
Warlock,
Super
yeah.
No,
perfect
I know.
one,
But
yeah.
I'm talking
I'm
about.
talking about Nova. Hold on.
Nova though, wasn't there something like his Nova Corps they keep talking about? Didn't they mention it?
Yeah, Nova Corps was Nova Prime. Yeah.
Oh, did they mention it on Xandar?
Well, no, they mentioned the guy John C. Reilly's.
Yeah,
character
John
is the
C.
one-
Reilly's character. Yeah.
He's the one that goes to Earth after the snap, and he finds Richard Ryder. So it's this guy here. Hold on, let me see if I can share them. You give me too much power here. So
No, I know the character you're talking about too. Yeah, and that's what I meant. I know they mentioned it.
yeah. So
I don't remember them mentioning.
Well, no. Well,
I swore they mentioned it in the movie once.
yeah. So
I swear they mentioned it, but I could be wrong.
like I said, John C. Reilly is the guy. He goes to Earth. He takes a ship. He's dying, slowly bleeding out. He goes to Earth, and then he recruits Richard Ryder to be to build the new Nova Corps. But I don't know. I asked Gary the same question. He said he was dumb. He was not dumbfounded, but he's like, geez, that's a good question.
Yeah, well, we're going to be losing Andre here, but Miguel Hernandez says the high school where I teach had Star Wars dress-up day today, and I proudly wore my freshly pressed The Last Jedi is Not Canon shirt, courtesy of Midnight's Edge. Well, good job, Miguel
Awesome.
Hernandez.
Massive kudos, Miguel. That's brilliant.
I got a
Let
thumbs up in
everyone see it.
questions.
I
I can only imagine about the questions.
I got a feeling we're gonna move quite a few more of those.
Maybe.
Do they come in XLT? Because if they
Absolutely.
Gypsy Warrior, £1.99. When do you see Galactus coming to the MCU? When the Silver Surfer arrives.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing that's kind of sucks about this whole MCU James Gunn thing. Before we get too far away from it, I think it also put a hamper into this. And that would have been Mr. Feige running Star Wars right now.
Yeah, I think so too, because that firing, honestly, I think destroyed so much. We have no idea. Because I agree with you, James Gunn, he was going to handle the cosmic side, and I think that that would have been like the most thing. It wouldn't have been so much like here and out, like some obviously, and that too would have been handled by James Gunn. He would have been the one to oversee it.
Right. My point is,
While
yeah,
Feige would have gone to Star Wars. I agree with you completely.
exactly, freeing up his plate.
Instead, he had to stay at a point when he no longer had a plan and like try to MacGyver something together when he was creatively maybe burned out and more interested in doing
I think that's
Star
where this
Wars
multiverse
anyway.
shit came from.
Yeah.
because we know where the DC side of things came from, but we have no real motivation for where the Marvel side come from, and they didn't do it to copy DC.
No.
I think it had more to do with getting Sam Raimi on board and how he wanted to do things. I really do. I think Sam Raimi's going to have a lot more to do going forward. He's going to probably do a lot of what Gunn was supposed to do.
Probably.
And then Gypsy Warrior says, when do you see Galactus coming into the MCU? You just said that, Rob. So we'll go, you said when Silver Surfer comes in, which is probably a good. I was thinking they'd probably use him for like at some point between the Fantastic Four, because I don't know if they're going to make Doctor Doom a bad guy right away. But anyway,
they may tease Silver Surfer at the end of Fantastic Four. They very well may do that, because that's where that's the ideal place to introduce him, because his origin is tied to the Fantastic Four. You know, Alicia Masterson, and I know years ago Jake had dibs on playing Terrax.
Yeah.
So,
at first it was Thor, but then he got cast. I'd play Terrax.
Goddess of Whim says, I was looking forward to seeing Strange and Panther leading the Avengers. Sadly, that can't happen. Yeah. Well,
but Shuri gets to be the new Black Panther now.
Let's be real. They're setting Spider-Man up to be the more, which is rightful where he should be. I have a feeling that this deal with them is going to get extended, and there's a lot more to it than we think.
Very possible. But gentlemen,
you have to get
dropped in to say hi. But Jake, it was good meeting you all.
Yeah,
and,
pleasure meeting you.
Yeah.
About damn time.
All right.
Yeah, that too. And I wish you all a great continued day or evening or whatever it may be where you are. Take care.
Take care, Andre, but don't you guys go anywhere, because we're going to still keep going. Goddess of Whim, I agree with you that, because I think you're talking about the whole Doctor Strange was supposed to be in WandaVision, which would have made sense. And that probably was maybe, do you guys think maybe that was the cameo they were talking about that never ended up happening or something? Do you think maybe that was the case? Or do you think maybe they shot something and cut it? Or I don't know the whole story. I didn't really catch up on it, but I just heard the deal that, like, evidently Doctor Strange was supposed to be in WandaVision but got cut.
Yeah, there was a story, actually, I think someone posted on the Midnight's Edge page. I read it. Basically, from the gist of it, they didn't want Doctor Strange mansplaining to Scarlet Witch how to use her power, which is ridiculous to me, because it's like he's the expert. He's like the epitome of all things magical in the Marvel universe. Like, you don't go to your doctor and be like, yeah, I know you're going to run these cancer tests, but I don't want you mansplaining my health to me. Like, that's dumb.
But why can't your doctor be like a woman?
Well, not only that, like, wouldn't that have helped kind of maybe made her understand what she was doing was wrong? Like, because that was the other thing. I didn't finish watching the show, but that's kind of the one thing that everybody kind of bitched about was like, how she just kind of walked away scot-free, and it did. It really reminded me of the end of like Smallville episodes when it was like every time, how they would just let whoever it was go free. It's like, oh, you killed 5 people, but that's okay, Jim. We knew Jimmy Olsen was not really bad. He's under the influence of some bad guy, so we're just going to let him go.
I'll still argue. How do you stop her? In the MCU,
there is that, but you still need to hold her somewhat accountable, or at least ask her.
At the very least, you pay lip service to the idea
that she feels bad, even.
Yeah,
right.
You say you're gonna have to pay. You're gonna have to pay for this at some point down the road. What you did. They didn't even say to her what you did was wrong.
Or even if like you had like Doctor Strange to explain to her, like, look, you're torturing these people, and then you just have her go, oh my God, I didn't know, and just have like this breakdown of like sorrow and regret. They didn't even have that.
They did that a little bit with Agatha, not a whole lot, not to the same level you're talking about. They did have that little moment where she kind of like showed her and made her see what she was doing to the people, but there wasn't any fallout from it. But yeah, I mean, unless you have Captain Marvel, Thor, or Doctor Strange show up, there's really not anybody in the MCU who can even, carry her jock.
But like I said, though, what you did here was wrong. That's all you had to say.
And I think there's that. There's the whole like Monica Rambeau, Jimmy Woo, and
They'll never
Fucking-
know what you sacrificed. What, your little dream world where you get to pretend your husband's still alive and you have 2 pretend kids?
Well, that's the part too that I heard that bothered me. Is like, what did she sacrifice? What do you mean sacrifice? She was forcing people into servitude and pain and anguish for how long, including children.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ralph Boner. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you there on that Goddess of Women. We'll get into the story here real quick in just a moment. But Roger H sends us a super sticker. I'm sure it's a thumbs up, and thank you for that.
You're so stunning and brave. Oh, see you later, girl.
Me again.
Yeah. Bye-sies.
Pisces. Yeah, and then we got DCV Titan says Nova Corp was in. Yeah, that's what I thought. Was in the first Guardians movie as the police defense force. That's what I thought. Yeah. Planet where they got arrested and attacked at the end. That's what I was saying. Like, yeah, I think they were kind of planned on coming in, but now that Guardians 3 got pushed back and all that kind of stuff, that's probably what happened. Rob.
Nova could have very well been a teaser at the end of Guardians 3.
Well, they had Adam Warlock, but I think that
Guardians 3, they had to get Guardians 2, but Guardians 3.
The other thing
Guardians 3, yeah.
The other thing with Nova, I think, is there has to be a role. And like right now, Thor is kind of the big, like he's the powerhouse on the team, and it seems that either Jane Foster Thor or Captain Marvel was kind of the heir apparent to that. I think before you can bring in someone like Nova, you kind of have to move off from whoever the next powerhouse for that team is going to be.
Do you think? Yeah. Well, do you think we see you could very well get a Nova teaser at the end of Thor: Love and Thunder, but Jake, I have absolutely no hope that Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be good.
I want it to be good so badly, and I keep telling myself that I was pessimistic about Thor Ragnarok, and it proved me wrong, and just trust Taika Waititi. But I mean, with Captain Marvel being in the movie and them picking the worst Thor comic that they possibly could have picked to go over everything, I know I said I'd be out if Doctor Doom is a woman, but I may be out before that. If Captain Marvel lifts, Mjolnir, I'm out.
But
I wouldn't even make it to Doctor Doom.
But Jake,
be honest. Oh, go ahead.
But Jake, she's so stunning and brave.
Yeah. I think they are going to phase out Brie Larson, Captain Marvel. And I said this before. They even announced the whole Captain Marvel's title and all that shit.
Yeah.
Because they were introducing Monica Rambeau so much. We already knew they were setting up that character. And then you got to think about it. Like every other person that they brought into the MCU, they didn't get the big paydays up front. They didn't get them until their third, fourth film. And she got a big, huge payday up front. And I got to imagine that it goes up astronomically with each appearance. So I can't imagine they're going to want to sit there and keep, because that was part of the problem with the budgets of the last few films, is that the cast was costing too much. And that's where I know Kevin Feige was out there going, oh, well, no actors above the characters. And we do plan on eventually recasting these characters. And we think of them like James Bond. It's just somebody else will take up the mantle at some point. Right. So he knows they're not above being recasted, but I don't see them bringing in Brie Larson, because by a second or third appearance, her paycheck's going to be like $30 fucking million.
And the thing is, like, there are those of us on this side of things who absolutely hate her and can't stand her. And I don't think anybody loves her. I don't think there's anyone who's like, oh, this iteration of the character is amazing. And, it's the best thing ever. I think the most support she gets is, I don't see what's wrong with her. I think like that's the highest peak of Brie Larson fans in the role of Captain Marvel.
Yeah, basically. House Atreides says, I noticed that KK doesn't appear as an executive producer in either Bad Batch or Clone Wars Season 7, but does in Mandalorian, is animated beneath her. I don't think so. I think the reason she wasn't on Clone Wars 7 as an executive producer is because it was produced before she was even a part of Lucasfilm, technically, because that was a leftover from the original series. As far as the Bad Batch, I'm not 100% sure. It could be that animation is a completely different department. I'm not 100% on that. That is a very good question and probably something worth looking into. And not only that, maybe it just because I don't know.
Probably because she thinks animation's for idiots.
No. I just her name would be on it anyway because she's the head of Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to insinuate it, but maybe she is out more than we think. Like if everything that comes out between now and after the last season of Mandalorian doesn't have her name on it.
But to think though, I mean, we go from the end of Endgame where Steve Rogers picks up Mjolnir, and you see that moment where you see it starting to move, then it flies across screen, and he grabs it in his right hand, he turns, and the whole movie, the theater I was in cheered when Steve Rogers held Mjolnir and held it aloft and summoned lightning. And then we go to Brie Larson picking it up.
Yeah,
that's a huge step down.
I have to imagine Taika Waititi isn't that stupid.
When I saw that movie, I went, yeah! It's just, God, and just, that's where we're headed, though. That's where we're headed.
Yeah, DCV Titan says we should have had an Adam Warlock movie instead of Captain Marvel. I agree, as Warlock had more to do with the Infinity Stones. Very true.
You want, yeah, I know, yeah.
But they needed to get some whammons in there. They needed whammon power.
But the thing, Taika Waititi is saying, "Oh, this is the best Marvel movie ever." Really? We've heard another director say that their movie was going to be the best in a franchise. I wonder what happened to that.
I just hope Thor: Love and Thunder isn't the Birds of Prey of that series.
Oh,
I really. Okay, so according to Rolling Stone, the story of WandaVision's main character, Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, played by Elizabeth Olsen, set to continue in 2022's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. These two projects were almost linked more directly, as Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige reveals in Rolling Stone's upcoming extensive oral history of WandaVision. Marvel struck a deal with Benedict Cumberbatch to appear in the final episode of the show as Doctor Strange, but late in the process, they wrote him out. Mm-hmm. Some people might say, oh, it would have been so cool to see Doctor Strange, says Feige, but it would have taken away from Wanda, which is what we did not want to do. Yeah. We didn't want the end of the show to be commoditized. Commoditized? Okay.
Yeah.
To go to the next movie. Here's the white guy. Let's show you how your powers work. That meant that Doctor Strange movie 2 had to be rewritten in the end. Feige says Marvel's process is a wonderful combination of a very dictated coordination and chaos magic. At one point when Doctor Strange was supposed to be part of the story, the in-universe commercials were going to be messages from Strange to Wanda. And there was also talk of having Cumberbatch appear in one of the ads, head writer Jack Schaefer says.
Jack Schaefer has no fucking clue.
Meanwhile, Elizabeth Olsen is pushing back on criticism that Wanda got off too easy by flying away without punishment after she forced an entire town of people into her sitcom fantasy world. That's one way of putting it. I would say, like, excruciating pain for a long time would be another way.
Where they pleaded for the sweet release of death.
The sweet release of death. She had to get away before the people who have to hold her accountable got there, she says.
Actually, somebody in the chat just said, hold on. Sounds like cover for writer Jack Schaefer's in-depth writing. Yeah, it does.
Well, listen to this shit. She even acknowledges this. She had to get away before the people who have to hold her responsible or accountable get there, she says. And where she went is a place that no one could find her because she knows that she is going to be held accountable. And I think she has a tremendous amount of guilt.
Fleeing the scene. You could add to her list of offenses.
No shit. You need to set that up better though. Because I'm not hearing that from people.
Jake, let me ask you a question. You've read the Dark Phoenix saga, right?
A long time ago, but yeah.
You remember how it ended?
No.
Jean Grey felt enormous guilt for her crime for destroying a planet of 6 billion people.
Okay, yes.
And actually, in Marvel, the officer says, no, we have to help. She destroyed 6 billion innocents. She has to pay somehow.
Right.
So they killed her. Now, Pisces.
Yeah.
I agree. She's a coward, says Taz Manta. Spider Unlimited says $4.99. Gents, I love Phase 1. Just curious as to what your opinions are on Incredible Hulk, the least talked about MCU film. I'm a fan. I enjoy it. It's pretty good. It has the least amount of problems, probably story-wise, as the earlier films. I don't know. It's pretty straightforward, but it just has such little connection with the rest of the universe that's probably why. Because until they started bringing in some of the characters from that, you can almost ignore it on the fact that, Bruce Banner is a completely different actor.
I think that is the reason why it's not considered as highly as the other MCU movies, because of Edward Norton. And I mean, Hulk movies are tough. I think that's why Hulk isn't a standalone franchise on its own, because it's a Jekyll and Hyde story. Like, well, how much can you do with it? The two sides are going to fight each other, and eventually you have to merge them or kill them.
Incredible Hulk probably did the best with it could. Like, in all honesty, like, there's nothing wrong with the film. Like, I'm even sitting here stretching to try and think of something like that really stood out to me as like dumb. No, the whole movie's pretty solid from my recollection. So
I like Mark Ruffalo better as Bruce Banner.
Same,
honestly, but I feel like Edward Norton looked more like what's his face from the TV show,
Bill Bixby.
Bill Bixby, yeah, and I know that was definitely the feeling and tone they were trying to go with. And,
well, didn't Lou Ferrigno voice the Hulk?
He might have. I think so.
Well, the other thing too is like Edward Norton's. I don't want to call him a small guy, but he's not. But Mark Ruffalo still he's a pretty tall guy. Edward Norton is it's a greater extreme, the transition between Edward Norton and Hulk.
Yeah, because that's the thing. To me, Norton kind of looks more like Bigsby and has like the more gangly look to him. As to where Ruffalo in the face looks like Hulk when he's hulked out. Like, he looks like Hulk's face. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he's got that face. So like when he's the Hulk, I think his Hulk looks better. But overall, acting wise, I could take or leave both of them. I think they're both fine. But no, I have no problems with the movie itself. So I don't know too many people who don't like it. Yeah, I did say that too. That he's a bit lanky compared to. But yeah, and then Matt G sent us a super sticker. Thank you so much for that, Matt G. We appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, unless anybody can think of anything really that stands out to them, I can't think of any bad things about Hulk.
Yeah, it's one of those movies. There's nothing bad. There's nothing great either, and it's just kind of exists in the middle.
Kind of, yeah.
Like, I think if you lined up and ranked every MCU movie like best to worst, Incredible Hulk is probably going to be like smack dab in the middle.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Rob, I think, went to the bathroom. So let me see if I can find this Picard stuff that I was tagged in. I'm not sure where it's at.
Oh, the nudes.
Nudes? Picard nudes? What?
Yeah, someone leaked Picard nudes on your Twitter.
Awesome. Just what I wanted to see, a geriatric old man naked.
I mean, that's the
I'm
dream.
sorry for my shortcomings. Oh, goodness. All right, I'm not seeing this here. When did I get tagged in this?
I have no idea. I just saw it.
I'd say if somebody has it, go ahead and grab it, because I don't Twitter well. I don't do social media, so
I don't Twitter that well either. I'm gonna hop on though, and I'm gonna look too, and I'm gonna see.
Yeah, that's from yesterday, so that's no way that's new. Let's see here. Nobody else shared it with me privately. Yeah, somebody wants to send it to me in a DM. That'd be easier. So there's supposedly some Picard leaks. Oh, interesting.
I do see where someone. Oh no, this was something you replied to. The son creates a sexy OnlyFans account for his mom.
Hey, he's an entrepreneur.
That's a level.
Look at it this way, kids. Like, I know how to use the internet. My mom's sexy. I think I can figure this out. Yes, tire and beard. I said shortcomings. All right, is Rob back yet? Cesario GPN says, Rob, any good Star Wars porn parodies for May 4th? Well, hopefully he gets back so we can answer that. So there you go.
Which, of course, in German means a whale's vagina.
I mean, I think the rise of Skywalker is porny enough. I don't even think he needs that.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm not finding this Picard news, so...
The Force Awakens too. Actually, the sequel trilogy in general is very porn friendly as far as names go.
Fatal J, just let me review at least 1 and 2. Disney Star Wars. Leave this to me. I'm British.
Princess Leia. I like that one.
Paging Mr. Connors. Is this it? Okay, here we go. Got it. All righty. Yeah. You back yet, Rob? No. Well, when Rob gets back, we'll ask him about the porn parodies. In the meantime, let's see what we got here. We have potential leak in the lab about Star Trek Picard, and it's terrible. Oh boy, here we go. Season 2 and 3 are being shot back to back. There are 16 episodes in total, 8 for each season. The plan is for production for Picard to be finished the end of 2021 and the show to wrap up. Sir Patrick was only contracted for 3 seasons. Paramount plus CBS has only agreed to 5 simultaneous Trek shows. So once Picard is finished, Section 31 will take its spot in the lineup. Yeah, we'll see. Returning characters: Picard, Sophie, Raffi, Seven, I should say, Rios, Elnor, Laris, Zaban, and Number 1. Returning legacy characters from Trek: Q, Geordi, the Doctor, EMH, now called Joe, Wesley Crusher, and Guinan. Season 2 starts with the death of Guinan, who dies from a wound she received on Earth in the 21st century. Picard is deeply traumatized by this event, and Q visits him to give him the chance to go back in time and prevent the injury from occurring. Okay. The entire crew of the La Serena is sent back to the 21st century, where Picard meets Guinan, who remembers him from their encounter with Mark Twain. It is revealed Guinan's special divergent from the Q. They are descended from the same race, but took different paths.
Picard, what's this? Picard?
This is Picard leaks.
Oh, brother.
Picard saves Guinan, but his actions create a new timeline where the Federation is now full of fascists. When they return to the present, the crew then has to survive fighting against Starfleet in this new timeline, where Q doesn't exist either, and find a way to change history back to what it should be.
All right, that makes no sense because Q exists outside of our time.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're even saying. Yeah, I'm not so sure if I buy all these. But anyway.
That's bullshit. Bullshit.
Picard's new android body is brought up once again by Q in the beginning of the season and never again. Raffi and Seven are in a committed relationship and are targeted by the new fascist Starfleet. Q is in 6 episodes. He's more serious. Season 3 is about a Borg invasion and primarily being shot in spaceships.
I don't believe you.
Well,
I don't think this is real. I think a lot of this is bullshit.
No, this is a lot of bullshit.
This sounds like stuff to get us going. You know what I mean? Like it really does.
It's all the trigger points. It's all the trigger points.
Is.
It's gay relationships, oppressed,
fascism, and all that shit.
Yeah, I call bullshit on this. And like I said, the biggest bone of contention I have is Q exists outside of space and time. So Q not existing.
It even says that
Q exists in the fucking afterlife.
Yeah, that's what it kind of says here too, because it even brings up how Guinan is the same kind of thing. Like she's divergent from the Q and all. Yeah. So I don't know, whatever. Fuck it. And then we got some pictures. This one I think leaked out a couple days ago.
Okay,
then we got some new ones.
There's some truth to they're on a bus because there's buses in the 24th century.
Oh Lord Almighty. And we got a question for you. I'm going to read this one first. House Atreides says, I finished the Thrawn Ascendancy Greater Good. It's slower and focused on politics. excuse me. I'm not sure how the last book will be since it leads to Thrawn being exiled, but it will be interesting how he gets there. Excuse me. I've not read any of the Thrawn. Honestly, I've not really read any extended universe anything when it comes to Star Wars. I feel for people who are into the extended universe, but I have zero connection to it. So
I have the Thrawn trilogy books, but I haven't read them.
Yeah. What about you, Jake?
I read some when I was like 10.
Right. Yeah, I tried reading like the whatchamacallit, that trilogy that came out that kicked it all off.
Oh, Zontar's got a good point here. Hold on. Cesario JPN, $2. Rob, any good Star Wars parodies from May the 4th? No, actually, I haven't looked.
Star Wars?
Star Wars porn parodies.
No, Star Wars.
Star Wars, okay.
That's the only one I know of.
Help me shave my Wookiee. Is that one?
No, but it should be.
Oh.
What were you going to say, though, Rob?
There's someone who said, Zontar, since when has that doesn't make sense ever stopped Kurtzman?
That's very true. Like Sonar in Space, for fuck's sake. And Valiant Renegade, holy crap, sends in $50, says, we are witness to an odd divergence of business acumen at Disney. They finally realized they blew the $4 billion goodwill purchase of Star Wars and now try to remedy, but they concurrently now do the same thing to the MCU, thinking they have the capital to burn. Very plausibly. I know a lot of it is all about getting behind these fucking politics. That's what's going to kill the MCU. What's sad is Star Wars didn't really have the politics at first. I mean, it did without us knowing it because it did so well with kind of like, just kind of like at first
nuance and subtlety.
Yeah, then it just obviously became way too much in The Last Jedi.
Regional governors will have direct control over their territories. Fear will keep the local systems in line. Fear of this battle station. That's as much politics as you got.
Well, and then like I'm saying, like The Force Awakens, the biggest gripes were Han Solo went out like a bitch and he's a shit dad, and then Rey is fucking overpowered. That's what everybody bitched about, outside of it being an exact carbon copy of the first Star Wars, which I didn't have an issue with that so much as the other two things. Because like I'm cool with the whole it rhymes thing. Because I've even argued that part of what killed the prequel trilogy was it should have rhymed more with the original trilogy than anything.
Honestly, in The Force Awakens, I didn't even really mind Rey at all. It was Han Solo going out like a bitch sucked.
Yeah,
I was willing to accept it as the only major flaw. Yeah. But and that's why I get so like when people are like, oh, you didn't like The Last Jedi because you're racist or misogynist. I'm like, no, I liked these characters. I liked Finn. I liked Rey. I liked these characters in the first movie, and then you fucked them up.
Well, yeah, because you're right. Because after the first movie, you still have a room and window of opportunity to go. Okay, why is she so powerful?
Right.
I was willing to take that yet. And yeah, other than Han Solo going out like he did, my only other gripe was, they should have just had it to where the good guys lost and Starkiller Base, didn't get blowed up, so that it could be this looming threat through the rest of the series. And if you think about it, you look at the next two movies, it needed it. It really, really did.
Actually, that's not a terrible idea. That's not a terrible idea. Oh, they disabled Starkiller Base, but it's
still active. Exactly. Yeah. They saved the day for now, but they didn't destroy it. And because that was the problem that Lucas faced with the original trilogy was, shit, I blew up the Death Star. Now what do I do? Now what do I do? I'll build another one.
Right.
And that's, and again, it's understandable and believable that this big industrial thing, they're not going to just make one. They're not going to just. Of course, they probably got 2 or 3 coming down the assembly line, so that I can understand. But
what was it? How I Met Your Mother when Allison Hannigan realized there were people on board the Death Star or whatever it was.
It's like the conversation on Clerks where they talk about all the contractors that got killed on the second Death Star that had nothing to do with the conflict. Because they're like, yeah, at least the first Death Star was all stormtroopers and Imperials. The second one, what about all those poor schmucks who are just there to paint?
I don't know who said it. I think it was Doomcock that said it last night. I think he said a couple nights ago. He said, you know what? Actually, Rogue One isn't that bad a movie.
I
And
like Rogue One.
No, it's
And
not horrible.
And at least it gives a valid explanation as to why the Death Star is this huge killing machine, but it's got this one fatal flaw built in it. It's just like, okay, guys, you know what? I'll build it, but I'm gonna build. Hey, rebels, here you go. It's the best I can do.
But it also kind of goes against the dialogue in the exploitation of the weakness. He didn't put in a weakness; he put in an actual, like the way they set it up in Rogue One is it's like on purpose. The way they set it up in Star Wars is that it's like just an which can happen. An oversight. Yeah, an oversight. Exactly. And like they said, that small of a fleet is no threat to us because they didn't stop to think of it. That's what I'm saying. It's that little, you pull the pin, the whole fucking thing falls down. That's really what it is. Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's that this guy, but it does make a certain amount of sense that this guy, this scientist, feels horrible about, because. What didn't like Oppenheimer or whoever it was who built the atomic bomb? Didn't he felt bad about it?
Well, I'm sure he did afterwards.
And if I think he said years later if he could have stopped him, he would. But he kind of had to bring an end to the war. But it makes a certain amount of sense that there be a scientist, an engineer. He said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna build a weakness just as a flaw into this thing, just in case in case the Empire uses it to start blowing shit up. And sure enough.
It would have been more believable though that somebody knew about the flaw and they would have just got it out to the rebels. Because here's the thing.
That's why they were trying to stop the plans though.
Well, I know, but if you have somebody who's building it under duress like they had what's-his-face doing, which that's the part I also had a problem with, he's going to do something to fucking sabotage it.
Yeah.
That's pretty stupid. So you have like his second or third in command be the one who actually has the conscience and sneaks out the plans.
Yeah.
Is what it should have been. And that should have been that character. But no, again, I could sit there and nitpick it all day, but out of the Star Wars films, it's clearly the best.
Yeah. Well,
the Disney Star Wars, I mean.
Yeah. Alfred Nobel invented TNT. If you're ever in Stockholm, don't plan a whole day around the Nobel Museum. It's pretty small. But that's travel tips. This has been travel tips from Rob.
Travel tips from Rob. Tim Riggs says, so back to Picard says, Picard writers are so bankrupt for ideas, they are ripping off the worst seasons of SG-1. Ouch.
Jake, you're not a Star Trek fan, are you?
I am not a Star Trek fan.
No.
Okay.
So we're not going to hang on Star Trek too long. Besides, it's May the 4th anyway, nobody gives a shit.
But they took like Captain Picard, the most beloved character in not only Star Trek but in television history, and they made him this doddering old fool who just went around apologizing for his white privilege.
Oh God.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry I'm white. I'm so sorry that I'm old, that I'm gonna die and put myself into a machine.
Yeah, and they put him and because androids are an oppressed minority, and that the humanity has enslaved, they killed Picard and they put him into a robot. They put his brain into his mind, his consciousness into a robot body, so he can now experience life as an oppressed minority.
But instead of making him to where he could live forever or even a long time, they gave him a time limit, but they wouldn't tell him when. They said it was going to be like his normal life.
Yeah.
Is this like an official show? Because it just sounds like...
No, I know, right? It sounds like made up batshit crazy shit. No, this is actually in the fucking show. They have a scene where they sit down at the table and they explain this to him.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I never got into Star Trek.
And they're yeah, we knew you'd complain if we did it otherwise. So we made sure we put a little time limit on there. So you'll have a normal lifespan, but you just won't know when you're going to go.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
well, he's gonna hear an alarm go off. Beep beep beep.
Oh shit!
And just collapse in a heap. Oh God!
I thought it was my popcorn.
Well, there was that movie actually. With I think Justin Timberlake was in about people had their time credits or whatever.
Yeah, it was kind of a ripoff of. No, yeah, not Logan's Run. Yeah, Logan's Run. Yeah,
yeah, and somebody gave this poor kid all his time credits because he was rich, and they were trying to track him down. We gotta get his time credits back. I'm like, time's up. Yeah, Joey. Yeah, in time, whatever, timeless. I don't know, whatever.
Something like that. Yeah.
About time, whatever. So that didn't do with time.
Time Pun the movie.
Time Pun the movie. Willie Woodward. Go ahead.
I would say I've watched Time After Time a couple times recently, and actually, that's a lot better movie than people give it credit for.
It is. I got the Blu-ray. Where have you been seeing it? At HBO Max or what?
Oh, I have my ways.
Oh yeah. Well, I give you passwords to shit, but I don't know.
Well, I forget them. I don't write them down, and I forget them.
Well, you should just sign in and keep yourself signed in. Willie Woodward says, "Really, you make a IH movie like a werewolf and covers the IH? IH. Tell me what IH stands for, Willie, and we'll get back to
Iron Horse.
Iron
I would
Horse?
love to see an Iron Horse movie.
Ironheart, maybe.
Just a I would rather see Iron Horse than Ironheart. Just a horse, an Iron Man.
Incredible
movie.
Hulk, Incredible Hulk movie, like a werewolf movie. Yeah, that's kind of what. That's kind of what Jake was saying. Is it's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It's werewolf. They're both kind of the similar.
Yeah.
One's a curse and one's brought on by themselves. It's more Jekyll and Hyde, but yeah.
Well, now I'm all excited for Iron Horse.
Iron Horse.
While we got Jake here, what does he think of? What do you think of the Riri Williams series?
Oh, the comic?
No, the upcoming TV series.
Yeah. They even got Robert Downey Jr. is going to do the voice of the computer.
Really?
Yeah.
I was actually saying that when Peter got like the Stark tech, I really wanted Robert Downey Jr. to voice the AI for him. I'm willing to give it a shot. I realize, I wasn't a fan of Ironheart in the comics, but at the same time, Iron Man is gone in the movies. Someone has to take that role up. I'm okay with it being Ironheart and Riri Williams. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt with it.
Right.
And I'll give them the benefit of the doubt to not make it as preachy as the comics are.
Oh, it's going to be preachy.
I hope it. I keep going into these things, giving them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm willing to. I will watch it, and we'll see where it goes.
You've seen that panel, right? She says to her teacher, "Why aren't you oppressing me? I demand to be oppressed."
Yeah.
Help! I'm being repressed.
Which is really, it's odd to me that they would write it and have her pictured as such a fucking brat.
But think about it. There's this whole thing. Iron Man's character arc is that he was a drunken dick, right? He was an angry drunken dick, and he makes weapons and he has no qualms about it. And then he sees the damage that his weapons are being done, and he, as Obadiah Stane says, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. He has to build an Iron Man suit, and then he has to put things right. He has a genuine character growth moment. Riri Williams, her motivation for building the suit, the armor out of stolen Stark tech, she was bored.
Yeah, and
she's a bored genius.
I think that's what they've kind of lost with a lot of the new characters they've made. Like you mentioned all the negatives about, about Iron Man. Like you have Thor, who starts off as basically an arrogant asshole, who isn't able to wield his own hammer because his arrogance and his hubris make him unworthy of it. And then these new characters that they introduce are these perfect beacons of light, who are better than humanity, who have no flaws, and like they don't get why they're not relatable, because a character is flaws plus failures. Like that's what makes a character relatable. That's what makes them likable. The difference between I've had people tell me, like, how can you hate Captain Marvel so much for being, an arrogant prick when you like Tony Stark? Because Tony Stark in his best moments overcomes those things and puts himself to the back burner. Whereas like with Carol Danvers, like it's earned and I'm supposed to love her for the things that are flaws in Iron Man. No, like they have to learn to make them fail, basically, and have.
Well, they're all self-inserts. For like you said, Ms. Marvel's the Kamala Khan, as I call her, Fisty McGee. She's she's a self-insert for Sana Amanat.
Well, and the other problem is when you already have a situation where you already have a character like that called Tony Stark, so you don't need another one like that.
Right.
That was the bigger argument, or people were complaining about Doctor Strange being so similar to Tony Stark. It's like, yeah, I get it. but their power set is totally different. And at that time, I'm like, look, you guys all realize that chances are either Captain America or Iron Man are not going to make it out of Endgame, right?
Right.
One of them is going to die. I mean, it's like
technically both of them did.
And I said the odds are high that it's going to be Tony Stark. But like I knew that. Like so I'm like, you need somebody to kind of take that replacement, and Captain Marvel is not it, and Brie Larson does not have the charisma. No. On the other hand, Benedict Cumberbatch does.
But the other thing too is, like you said, for the argument of, well, why do you hate Captain America? I mean, Captain America's perfect. I'm like, yeah, but he didn't start out perfect. And you see, what was the first thing? What was one of the first things? How were we really introduced to Steve Rogers? He fails his physical for the army, and then he gets his ass beat in an alleyway.
Right.
Yeah, and then he volunteers. He knows it's a dangerous procedure. He volunteers for it, and he earns the right. He earns the
well, not just that. The whole doctor makes a complete argument for why he's the right guy.
Yes. Hodge, Hodge is, and Tommy Lee Jones. Hodge is a perfect soldier. He's big. He's fast. He follows orders. He's a bully. I'm not.
Exactly.
He goes, yeah. And he goes, you
put
promised
that
me
in his arm is going to go straight through.
Yeah.
I think the problem though in finding a successor, we kind of talked about it before. I do think Spider-Man is the perfect person to kind of take.
Well, not only that, he's a good. He has the sense of responsibility,
right? And he's not too, like the natural fits like would be Thor, Doctor Strange, but those two characters are too powerful to be the leaders. There are guys who are lean more into like the Deus Ex Machina roles rather than like the guys who are up front leading everyone.
Yeah, and I think Rob hit a good point. Captain Marvel is kind of reverse Captain America, and they fucked it up. Mm-hmm. They could have made her likable. They could have made her rise above adversity, but instead they just made her a bully. They did, because if you look at the movie, what's his ass? Not Guy Pearce. Is that his name or no?
Jude Law.
Jude Law. He's right. His character is technically right. If you stop and think about it, but all he's trying to do is teach her one of these days, you may not have your powers. So what are you going to do? Because that's her whole thing in the beginning of the movie is she's so reliant on her powers and she could overpower everybody. But that's his point is, what are you going to do if you're stuck in a fight and you don't have your powers? And at the end of the movie, that's the way the movie should have ended. She should have been like, you know what? I don't need my powers to kick your ass, and just whooped his ass. And that would have made more sense.
I don't have to prove anything to you.
I think the one way you can salvage her is by having Rogue.
Having Rogue put her into a coma?
Yeah. Put her in the coma.
It should have ended. She should have lost her powers and kicked the shit out of Jude Law without her powers. Right. That would have made the character, make her learn something, a lesson, But no, instead she just has her powers. She blows his ass away. End of story.
Right.
Now, if you put a guy in that position, do you realize it would have been like they would have went after that character worse than they ever did Rambo in the 80s?
Yeah.
Jake, did I tell you about the first? I wrote like 5 or 6 pages of a Silver Surfer script.
No.
I wrote. It begins with you see the stars and the voiceover from the Watcher. Behold the universe, infinitely complex yet wondrously simple. It is my duty to record all that transpires, yet to never interfere. For I am the Watcher. It opens with the voiceover from the Watcher, and then you zoom into Earth and you see, and the script says that you don't start a script like this. It zooms down into Earth, and then you see the Surfer over Alicia Masters, and he's trying to heal her, but he's in pain, and the camera goes into his eye and down his like optic nerve into his brain and blacks out, and then it picks up earlier with Norrin Rad on Zenla. Okay. Yeah, and then you're introduced to the Kree and the Skrull and why they're at war, and they have the 2 emissaries on Zenla that are trying, and Norrin Rad is trying to resolve their differences, but Galactus comes and then he makes the sacrifice. And he sacrifices himself. And then they have that whole, and actually it takes a lot from the 90s animated series, but at the same time, that's the ideal Silver Surfer movie we want to see.
Yeah.
You know, there's that one moment, tragedy, where he's hovering over Zenla. Tragedy turns to triumph, and triumph turns tragic once more.
I just caught a glimpse of a comment that if they race swap the Silver Surfer, will he be the Golden Surfer?
Yeah, the Bronze Surfer. Yeah, but like I said, it ends in Galactus. That planet is not for such as we. Go, my Silver Surfer, my herald, for the great hunger is upon me again. And then he gets and that's the end of Act 1. He goes out to the Sea of Stars looking for sustenance for Galactus. But
there's the Silver Surfer for you, the new Disney version.
But, yeah,
I think that's Doug Jones too.
But as when he heals Alicia Masters, his memories come back and he realizes he's become a tool of evil. And there's that big moment. I serve Galactus. I serve you no more. And then he's exiled from Zen. Or no, he can't be. No, he should be exiled from Zenla. Just Zenla is flung into space, to the far reaches of space, and which sets him up to be able to go explore. Yeah.
Stephen Otten became a member. Thank you so very much for that.
I like the idea. I like it. So I don't know. I'd watch that movie.
I'd watch it too.
Yeah, but Disney wouldn't make it because you're a fan. Fa Chung Esquire says, "What do you think? What do you guys think of Snoke being a clone of Luke?" I have to say, it stirs my curiosity. Now, I don't know the source of this claim that's going out there, but
it's from a comic.
Okay,
they reveal that Luke's hand that got severed in Empire Strikes Back. I think they use the midi-chlorians in it to implant into the Palpatine clones, and then to give them force powers. And then Snoke was created from that. I may be missing something along the lines of it, but I think that's the gist.
Okay, and I think there was some other connection too with Palpatine, because then there was some roundabout way trying to say that, oh, technically she's a Skywalker now or some shit, like for reals, like she has Skywalker blood in her. And I think that what has to do with this. And actually, if this is true, it actually might tie back to the original script I remember of Force Awakens being out there, and it would make sense that that's probably what JJ had planned on Snoke being. And thinking about it, it wouldn't have been a horrible idea if you would have had Snoke being like some fucked up clone of Luke.
It certainly wouldn't have been worse than what we got.
No shit, right? Well, at least would have made Snoke made sense.
Right.
Because, I mean, we know that's what happened was Rian Johnson's like, well, fuck your Snoke theory. Well, that means he would said to hell with whatever JJ's Snoke plan was. And the same thing with race parentage.
I have to wonder how that trilogy would have been different if they just kept JJ on for all three.
I think if you take out The Last Jedi, that's pretty close to what we would have got. Because if you notice, if you look at The Rise of Skywalker, he almost has to undo everything from The Last Jedi before he gets into the new story.
Right.
So I kind of feel like that would have been it. Add in a little bit of this mix here. I think that would have been the case. I think she was meant to be either the daughter of Luke or the daughter of Luke and Leia, or Han and Leia, I mean, sorry. That'd have been weird. Or a clone, like they planned it, because that was one of the early rumors too, remember? Was that she was a clone, and she was supposed to be a clone of Anakin, remember?
Yeah. So, I will say this for Rey, because we talked about, the heroes being, failure plus flaws. And anytime you bring up all the things that Rey, can do and why she's a Mary Sue, the thing I usually get back is like, well, what about when Anakin did this, or what about when Luke did this? But both Anakin and Luke had moments where they got their arms fucking lopped off, where they lost a fight and they lost limbs and they were maimed because of it. I think Rey would have benefited from losing an arm. I mean, it's a little on the nose because it'd be exactly like Luke and Anakin.
No, but it should have been.
Right.
These things should have rhymed. That's where I said even the prequels suffered a little bit from not rhyming a little bit more, because it should have been Anakin's rise and fall should have been just like Luke's. But the difference is Luke made the right choices.
Right.
Anakin didn't. They should have been almost identical in that sense.
Yeah, I think Rey getting an arm lopped off would have done wonders for her character.
Absolutely. I mean,
humility, failure.
Right. All of the above. And it's not even wanting to see her maimed, but like from a character point, like she now becomes interesting because she has to, she has to.
Well, she's faced loss as well.
Right.
And then also that's a way for her and Luke to relate. And that could also bring in the whole fact of maybe that's one of the reasons why Luke resents her so much, because he knows she's a clone of Anakin. And I think that was the original idea, was that he was the one who dumped her on Octu to begin with, because he thought she was dangerous. But anyway, Stephanie Janicek, and that's kind of what goes into to JJ's story. Anyway, that's kind of what happened, basically. Stephanie Janicek, Smuggler's Cantina, how you doing? Says, so Kathy's on vacation, Tahiti, 9th level of Dante's Inferno. Maybe. I hope we didn't miss any in between here. So we got one from Stephen Otten, says, Angry Drunken Dick is the name of my autobiography. It should be the name of mine, but I'm not drunken. I'm going to double check and see if we missed any in between there. But yeah, well, I mean, the whole idea of the clone, I don't like the clone business anyway. Like, I mean, as a kid, what did you guys think the Clone Wars were when they talked about it in Star Wars?
Like in the prequels?
It was
prior to the prequels.
I thought it was this mythical time that you knew nothing about. The Clone Wars, what's that? And you could imagine. I'm like, you would imagine what it was like. I had an inkling that the stormtroopers were leftover clones. Were some kind of holdover from that time. But you didn't. It was just something they referred to once, and that was it.
I always thought it was something like they cloned the Jedi or something like that.
I never thought about it when I was watching the original stuff. I just heard it. I was like, oh yeah, Clone Wars.
Or it was a fight against cloning in general.
Yeah,
the Clone Wars. I thought there were clones on both sides.
I mean, again, I'm not like disappointed with what Lucas did. It makes sense, but I'm just curious because, like, I mean, they never really gave us anything to go on as kids. They just mention it, and it's like, oh, the Clone Wars. What was that?
It's probably just something he got high of and thought of, like, what if there was a war with clones? They're gonna put that in the movie. I mean, I think he had to have been high to be just like. Start off, we're going to start off in the middle of the fucking story. We're going to start off with 4.
That's because I had no real plan. It was just to tell a fucking story, make one movie, and then it became this huge goddamn thing. Then I got to add shit. It's like, God. Can you just have one movie and be happy, kids? It's Star Wars. It's the Star Wars. That's all you need. Then you made me have to make the Empire Strike Back. And then the Jedi had to get revenge. But then I'm like, oh, Jedi can't take revenge. But they would return. And then you're like, oh, I want to see what happened beforehand. Well, I did. Not you guys so much. You guys wanted to see the continued adventures. I'm like, nope, I'm making Willow.
Thank you, George.
Tyron Beard says, so if you have to choose, would you let KK or Ray snook your balls?
Oh, God.
Wrong answer. 7 of 9 all the time. Hail to the chat and panel tonight.
Yeah, but according to Alex Kurtzman, 7 of 9 don't swing that way no more.
Rug muncher. And I say that with all love and respect. Because I love watching them rug munch. Munch rug.
A lot of fiber in rug.
There is. Lots of fiber. What
Honestly,
about shag carpeting?
I don't get how more women aren't lesbians. Have you seen men? We're kind of gross.
I totally understand why most women do kind of like, yeah. You can only put up with us for so long. I get it. And I've talked about how basically like how the world is the way it is, and we only exist because and haven't killed ourselves yet because women keep us safer. Otherwise, we would destroy ourselves.
I don't know who was it said this, but yeah, a lot of women do go. She said to me, yeah, a lot of women do go for other women. We think of it as a bonding experience. So really, I said, really, yeah. Like what Oh, yeah, well, yeah,
When they rub together enough, I'm sure it's like suction cups. Sooner or later,
Yeah.
they're going to bond.
I would say, yeah, well, men just watch football. That's it.
You just totally missed my joke, Rob.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And you're totally like, with all the porn you've watched, I can't believe that hasn't happened at least once.
Gives a new meaning to the word scissor sisters.
I was going to say, don't you think at some point they would just get in that right position and things would go wrong and all of a sudden, and you're like, oh shit, we're stuck.
Like two
The doctor's like,
plungers.
we can't pull them apart. If we do, they'll pull each other's insides out. One of them has to die.
Like two plungers stuck together.
Like Siamese twins. Exactly my point. How do you get that apart? There's too much suction on both ends. Your uterus is going to be laying on the floor if
I
you pull too hard.
hate that I picture everything described to me.
At first, that would be quite titillating and awesome, and then you think about the aftermath. Get the jaws of life in there.
Hey, this is Guy Talk with Jake and Dom. Hey, how's it going?
Oh shit!
Is that like a Brooklyn mobster you're doing there?
Something there. It was like very.
I don't know.
Hey, want to buy a watch?
Take a look at this guy. He knows his onions.
Dash D says, I thought the Clone Wars was Jedi and Sith got low on the Force users. They had to clone themselves. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Is like, yeah, like, well, not so much that, but kind of similar in a sense that, you know, the bad guys had figured out how to clone things, so they cloned their own army of Jedi, basically, an unnatural clone army. The Blank Podcast with Ian Slater. You haven't decided what you're going to call yourself, huh? How you doing, Ian? Says, question is Star Trek Picard season 2 going to go pre-Enterprise? I saw one of the behind the scenes pics with Europa billboard on the bus. Well, if that leak is somewhat true, it says they do go back to the 21st century. So maybe. When did Enterprise start? Is that like at the end of the 21st century? Because I know it's like, what, 100 years from when the show was aired? Wasn't that technically? Somebody help me here.
Yeah,
Rob, where are you? Hello?
I am not the guy.
Rob, did you
What?
die?
No.
When did Enterprise take place?
Oh, it took place like
Was it in the end of the 21st century or was it in like the 20? Yeah, 20,
Just-
it's 22nd century here, according to Marx.
yeah, just
Close.
after not long after the whole maybe 50 years after Zephyr Cock.
I was gonna say I knew it was like 100, 150 years where from when it aired, and then like 100 years or whatever before pre-Kirk.
2151.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Yeah. So there you go. That could be why. I'm not sure. I know the 21st century is present day Chris Neville, but First Contact also is like around the corner, ain't it? In the movie, it took place when? I'm trying to remember now.
Oh,
Like 2017 or some shit like that, wasn't it? Or no, 27.
No.
2027 or I don't fucking remember. You know how long it's been since I've watched First Contact? I have all the Blu-rays and I haven't watched them since DVD. I've only watched like the first Star Trek movies over and over, first 3 or 4. I never watched the rest. I've watched Star Trek 2 the most. So there you go. Nicholas Horton says Colin's Duel of the Fates could have been an almost better ending to the sequel trilogy, tying it back to the prequels with the final battle on Coruscant going full circle, etc. Yeah, and I think Trevorrow and those guys were going a bit more off of the notes that JJ had probably given them. And Trevorrow did everything he could to try and make it work with The Last Jedi. But I can guarantee you that's kind of where it went, was like he just threw his hands up in the air. And he's like, if you're not going to fix this movie, then I can't make this other one because I don't have one of my stars. You know, so.
At this point, I think the Saga Begins Weird Al music video is a better Star Wars movie than the sequel trilogy.
Oh, hell yeah, hands down. That's not even an argument. I don't think anybody could argue that. So there you go. Yeah, blame the fans. That's what they do. No more sleep. So was there anything else to talk about today, guys? I mean, what else happened?
I looked it up, actually. First Contact Day is April 5th, 2063.
Yeah, it was like 50 years off.
In Bozeman, Montana.
Yeah. Buseman. Oh, Lord. So it's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. We love Janet Carano is trending. That's always good.
Oh, that's good news. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys see our video earlier today?
I did not know.
Rob, you narrated it.
Yeah, which is why I didn't watch it. I've already seen it or already heard it. I wrote part of it, and Andre changed most of it. So
I should watch that stuff while I'm working.
That's kind of what always happens. That's why I got okay. Here's what it's been long enough. I can tell this story now. You know that Rambo video we did last year? I wrote most of that to begin with.
Okay.
Most of it. Then Andre rewrote it like from top to bottom. It's like, why did you even have me write this? I haven't said that to him.
Don't worry, Andre.
Like, it's kind of discouraging to like have yourself like completely rewritten. He's like, no, but I needed it for the skeletal structure. It's like it doesn't resemble it at all. It was like I had the skeletal structure of a human, and you turned it into a skeletal structure of an elephant
or an iron horse.
Yeah, or an iron horse.
I had a great opening actually to that video before I sent it to Andre. He said there are some really bad screw ups in like history, really bad decisions. Decca Records turning down the Beatles, the Boston Red Sox trading Babe Ruth to the rival New York Yankees, and Lucasfilm firing Gina Carano.
I can see why it's a little abstract, and a lot of the two earlier ones, everybody be like, huh? Especially younger people, but
well,
I get it, but
I'm fully on the Iron Horse train now.
Me too. I'm curious about this.
So I'm imagining like a bad David Bowie impersonator doing his voice. He's like, "Look at me, I'm the Iron Horse, baby.
I can run so far." He's got to sing.
Iron Horse. You run.
I got a heart of iron and a body of steel.
That's actually a heart of iron and a body of steel.
I think we have a gold mine here with Iron Horse.
You only wish you knew who I feel.
I'm an alligator. Wrong
and
song.
I'm afraid of Americans.
Rocket hooves, go.
And it's got two different colored eyes.
Donnie Pierce says I love New York. To be honest, Boston is so on my bucket list. Boston is the I hate saying this for Bostonians. Boston has like the inferiority complex, like the little brother syndrome of New York. Like it's always in New York's shadow to the point where the Boston Red Sox in their highlight reel, they only use plays against the New York Yankees.
Well, I mean, in fairness, that's because of the rivalry.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, New York lives rent free in Boston's head.
Yeah, that's sad
because you think about it, all the big things that happened, like in early America, happened in Boston. The Boston Tea Party, like a lot of this stuff. But then, like New York was built up, New Amsterdam, and they said, okay, you know what? That's it. We're taking over.
Yeah,
we're the most important now, bitches. Deal with it.
Yeah, and then the technological revolution happened. I just miss David Bowie.
I so glad. Iron Horse. How's Leslie Headland celebrating May the 4th? That's a good question.
I don't know. She likes all the Star Wars, so
she's celebrating by eating carpet.
Do you know who Leslie Headland is, Jake?
No.
Former.
Oh my lord.
You're gonna love this.
Okay, well, let's get this first. Dash D says, didn't the Clone Wars have a place in the theory of 2-book series because of weakening the Sith blood? That's what I was. Yeah, because that's where I think maybe that's where I got it from. I always had this thing like I always thought the Clone Wars had something to do with cloning Jedi or Sith or some shit like that. Yeah. Okay, well, Miss Leslie Headland is the person who is overseeing the TV show The Acolyte.
Okay.
She's most well known for Chicky stuff. She's famously, I think she's bisexual, but I think she's like almost full on lesbian now. But Anyway, I don't think that's so much important, but they make it a big deal, right?
Oh, you gotta tick those boxes.
Yeah, exactly. So she's like, she's like Brie Larson on crack.
Oh God, that sounds awful.
Like with her fucking bad takes and shit. Like she'll go out there and attack everybody on everything, and you can tell she's so full of shit. Like she is so full of shit. Russian Doll was her big show.
So I've got pictures up of her, and she looks like a meth head Kelly Osbourne.
She looks like
You're not far off.
Actually, I have the Leslie Headland action
Hang
figure.
on, I was getting there. Oh, you ruined it.
Hi, Jake. I'm Leslie Headland. Yabba dabba do.
Yabba dabba don't. It's more like it.
I like all the Star Wars.
I was gonna say you kind of ruined the joke here because I had this picture ready to go. I almost did until you got that up there. No, that's all right. She likes all the Star Wars, bud.
Yeah.
Okay, so this lady most famously,
Hey, Wilma, let's scissor.
yeah, most famously worked for somebody in Hollywood that we shall not speak of. She was his personal assistant.
Uncle Harvey, she calls him.
She called him Uncle Harvey. She even wrote a play about him. On top of all that, she is probably one of these people that go unnamed when they say that, oh, it wasn't so much Harvey doing all the moving and shaking and getting women for him. It was his assistants. But again, that's just a possibility. Let's just keep that in mind. But yeah, she most famously worked for Harvey Weinstein for a long time and basically built her career off of him.
Uncle Harvey, Rose McGowan is penciled in for your 2:00 on Wednesday.
Ooh, I wouldn't have gone there, but hey. So yeah.
And I've been canceled again.
So Kathleen Kennedy decided that this is the lady who's going to head up the Acolyte. This piece of work.
Oh, is this Harry Potter cosplay? What's with the fucking cape?
Not just that. Look at her shirt. She's got a uterus on her fucking shirt.
Oh my God.
I have a uterus, so deal with it. Yeah, but you're not going to be using it anytime soon.
I am not even getting into that. But yeah, so that's who Leslie Headland is.
Wah!
We can use her face to model Iron Horse off of.
And that's why we like having Jake here.
I've got the power of love.
Iron Horse.
You know you want to brush my mane.
Oh God.
Nobody rides Iron Horse into battle.
Iron Horse runs battle into him. I am battle.
It does sound like a David Bowie title.
Right.
It does.
And a concept album.
David Bowie's Iron Horse.
David Bowie, motherfucker. He's the only one who could make anything fucking cool. Really.
my brother Dave saw David Bowie in his prime. He said it was the best concert he ever saw. Every song was a play. One song he was a dog howling at the moon. Another song he was in a boxing ring. He said it was unbelievable.
I mean, look at it this way. He did this shit in the middle of the 60s and 70s, like when it was like really taboo. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go out there dressed like a woman. And he just did it. And then like everybody's like, oh, you sucked Mick Jagger's dick. He's like, yeah, I don't do it again. It's like, okay, he made it cool. You know, it's like, doesn't matter. Mick Jagger could do anything, or David Bowie could do anything, including Mick Jagger, and make it cool.
I mean, yeah.
Labyrinth. No reason that movie should have been good. Only cool because David Bowie's there. Otherwise, it'd be a weird fucking Muppet movie. I mean, anybody else is in that. You know, like Steve Martin. Picture Steve Martin or something.
Oh, God.
You can't. Nobody else can do it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't work with anybody else.
Billy Crystal.
I just made that up. Yes, Labyrinth. Yeah, I made that up.
Stephanie Janicek says her face would scare my horse. I'm scared of Leslie's face.
Please make David Bowie Iron Horse a thing.
That's the only weakness in this place. Otherwise, I'm Iron Horse, going faster than any horse could before.
Yes.
God, I'm so glad I didn't know what the Incredible Hulk reference was.
Yes, we're going to make. Yes, the Iron Horse is going to be the concept album of the year.
And then Tim Ray says, well, David Bowie's Bulge is the real star. I don't know about that, because that's the thing that I was most confused about, because I was a little kid when I saw that. And I'm like, is that a chick or a guy until he talked? He's like,
all right, so we're
like, oh, that's a dude.
We're using this. Iron Horse's ultimate move is he kicks up and he like whinnies up on his hind legs, and there's the bulge underneath the horse, and that's where the unibeam shoots from.
No, the best part is he can be a woman or a man, no matter what he wants.
Oh, for God's sake.
Black Phoenix likes Billy Crystal's Labyrinth. Oh, that'd be a totally different movie. Vertical Rise is like, my eyes! Christopher Walken as Jareth. That would even have been different. What do you think, Jake?
Hey, check me out. I'm a fucking Goblin King.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jake does a really good.
Any good time, any good chance to get Christopher Walken out of Jake? Yes. Yes. I'll send you to the oubliette.
Listen, I didn't read the script. I don't know what any of the lines are. Just film, and whatever makes air, makes air.
I'm surrounded by Muppets.
Mr. Walken, it's about an iron horse.
Iron Horse, huh? I like the cut of your jib. I have not been drinking. I don't know about you guys.
Martin Short. Oh God.
Give me a C, a bouncy C.
You want to get through the labyrinth.
I'm imagining him doing it as Jiminy Glick.
And I'm actually dancing like him when I'm doing that too. I'll tell you what to do.
What about John Lovitz's Jared?
John Lovitz. Oh shit.
I keep saying, Jake.
Look at my package.
Jake, were you a fan of The Critic?
Yes.
Who didn't love The Critic?
Yeah, I keep saying we are this era we're living through now is tailor-made for The Critic to make a comeback.
That is one of those shows that I was way too young to watch, but I snuck it anyway.
Thanks.
And nothing was lost.
Buy my book. Buy my book.
I remember watching.
Book.
I watched The Critic when it first aired. My brother Mark was just like, "Dude, this is terrible." I'm like, "No, dude, this is awesome."
The best episode is the Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel episode when they break up. That is like, I can't like probably one of the best TV shows of all time. It's just hilarious from beginning to end. And when they sing to each other, it's just, oh man, it just cracks me up.
There's only like 20 episodes, but it's great though.
Well, in the second season, go ahead, Jake.
I was gonna say I don't know why, but in my mind, I always lump it in with Duckman.
Oh yeah.
Well, it started on ABC and then it moved to Fox. And if I remember right, when it moved to Fox is actually when it went to shit, ain't it, Rob?
Well, they
changed.
They made a lot of changes. They changed the design to make him look more softer, more teddy bear like.
Yeah.
And they downsized his apartment because they felt like, it's too opulent. People in other parts of the country aren't going to be able to relate to it, so they had to.
Well, not just that. I think that then they tone it down a bit too.
Yeah,
which is weird because you think it would have been the opposite, but yeah.
Well, they added Alice too.
Yeah, and then,
which actually was a good character.
I don't know. I love the show. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't know. It was ahead of its time, way too ahead of its time. I think.
I just looked to see if it's streaming on anything, and it's streaming on Crackle.
Yeah, it's
So,
always on Crackle. But I bought
first
Ralphie
thing-
DVDs just to be safe.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go figure out what Crackle is.
Crackle's
It's
actually
Sony's
not
failed.
bad.
It was Sony's failed streaming service.
Crackle's not bad. Crackle has free episodes of All in the Family and Community.
Hence,
I
I
mean,
said
Hulu
Sony's
has
free
Community,
service.
too.
Yeah.
Did Crackle leave up like the Dungeons and Dragons
No.
episode of Community?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
But Black Phoenix, no, it was on ABC first. No, it was on ABC first. and
Yeah,
then
it was
moved
actually
to
on
Fox.
ABC because ABC had this thing where they were trying desperately to capture the same.
Everybody
thing as
wa-
the Simpsons.
Yeah, everybody wanted the next Simpsons. and
Yeah, they tried Capital Critters, that didn't work. CBS tried to Family Dog, that didn't work.
Fish Police.
There's
No, that
Fish
was
Police.
that was a few years earlier.
What else was there? There was a couple other ones though in the process of all that, but the Critic was the only one that kind of rose above the rest. Like that one actually is like, okay, this isn't a Simpsons wannabe ripoff. You're not just making this. Actually, is a concept that works. And at that time, that's when like guys like Siskel and Ebert were at their peak. So like to have a character like that and just it was just perfect. And I mean, personally, I've heard shit about John Lovitz. I probably wouldn't like him as a person, but the guy's funny. I mean,
well, one of the big things is that the pilot episode, which actually co-starred Jennifer Lean from Star Trek Voyager, who played Kess, ABC got a lot of blowback from that because a single man living in New York actually hooked up with somebody on the first date. And oh my God, how can you show this? We're going to moral decay. You showed this in a children's cartoon. And they're like, it's not a children's cartoon. But they had a lot of blowback from that because the idea of showing that in an animated series was just reprehensible to many people. Actually, White Knight, it's on YouTube. Somebody uploaded a lot of the series to YouTube. You can see it there.
I don't think all of them in there, but most of them are. DCB Titan says Tom laughing sounds like Barney Rubble. That's all right. I'll take it. I got a few different laughs. I know that. Did we hear that the filming on the new Dungeons and Dragon movie started? Yes, I saw the
Now, is this based on the 80s cartoon or is this
no,
based on the game?
they can't unless they pay for the rights to those characters because those characters are owned by the company that made the animated cartoon.
It's like film Funimation or whatever it is?
No, wasn't it Deke or something like that? I can't remember now, but Nelvana, Nania, whatever company that made the animated series, they own those specific characters.
Yeah.
Because like they did a commercial with those characters a while back, and they had to go through this whole finagling thing.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't, as far as Jeremy Irons and the batshit craziness of the 2000 movie, they don't have to try too hard. That thing was shit. Jeremy Irons was in a completely different movie. I don't know. Did you guys ever see that? The one with,
I did not know.
God, who else was in that? I think wasn't what's his face who plays Hawkeye in that shit too?
Jeremy Renner?
Yeah.
Let's see.
If not, it was the kid from Senior Trip who went nowhere. This says NBC Universal is also playing catch up with most of the shows on Hulu and Peacock, and the people running the network are behind the times. Maybe that's why they have the shows are for free. Not only that, I think they're just trying the whole like Hulu model. I have to buy my book and use.
Oh, this is interesting. Dungeons and Dragons was actually co-produced by Marvel Entertainment, the TV series.
Interesting.
There you go.
Yeah, and D&D Entertainment and Marvel Productions.
Maybe it is Marvel.
No, distributor New World Television.
Yeah, New World. That's when New World owned Marvel. So maybe it's New World or Marvel. One of the two owns the actual characters themselves.
Co-starred Willie Ames and Donnie Most.
There you go.
Donnie Most.
Yeah, I know Damon Wayans was also in. And it wasn't Damon Wayans. It was Marlon Wayans, his younger brother. It wasn't Jeremy Renner. Then it was Justin Whalen. Oh, Justin Whalen. That's it. The kid from. That's what I was thinking of. From Child's Play 3. That's right. I knew it was somebody who went nowhere. I couldn't remember who it was. It's been so long since I watched that dumb movie. I watched it once. I'm like, this is garbage shit. All right, kids. With that, I don't think there's really much else for us to talk about. It's been a pretty slow day outside of that, for considering it's the May the 4th be with you and all.
Mm.
We do have High Council in just under an hour, so or about an hour. So check us out over there. Other than that, or me out over there anyway. Other than that, we got 2 quick super chats here. We got one from DCB Titan. Jeremy Irons is the best part of the movie. That's what I'm saying. He was in a completely different movie. He wasn't, that's what I meant by that exactly. Tim Riggs says D&D is owned by Hasbro. And went lunatic years ago. I have zero faith in this production. Yeah, but I don't think they own those characters though. That's what I was saying.
Well, they could probably do the same premise, but just different characters.
Yeah, you'd have to have different characters. But if they actually wanted to use the characters from the animated series, they could. They would just have to get the rights to them, basically. So that's what I know about that. I just don't remember who exactly has them. And with that,
I was not expecting that.
of course not.
Do you know the story behind that?
No.
That guy in a wheelchair is just wheeling around on the new Star Trek Discovery, and it's like needlessly so, because they could give him implants or whatever, or give him spinal therapy, whatever therapy.
Well, not just that, it would be a hazard to have somebody in a fucking wheelchair on a spaceship like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because everything's not wheelchair accessible. There's like steps and like ledges and shit.
Well, worse than that, like I said, every time we see him get hit, he would go flying. And then the wheelchair would probably go hit somebody in the head.
Yeah. And he doesn't even have a name. Whoa, it's so inclusive. So I gave him a name.
So we call him Timmy.
Yeah.
Nicholas Horton, Wizards of the West Coast. Yeah, or the Coast. I knew that part, but they're not the ones who own the actual D&D characters. I think Rob's right. It's Marvel or
Marvel owns those specific characters, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Because there was like some car commercial like a couple years back that used them. That use the same characters. Can we get a Fenton? I think we can do a Fenton. We can go out on a Fenton. Why not? So with that, hopefully you can join us again on Thursday, where we'll do some more talking, and then maybe somebody will win a version of our home game. We'll see about that.
Ooh.
Jesus Christ! Fenton! Oh, Jesus Christ! Fenton!
And our home game comes with a cardboard cutout of Jake and a teddy bear.
I'm in. I want to play. I want to win
it. And then Rob, who has a porn stash.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
All right.
Yeah. This sends in one more super chat. Says Invincible got renewed for another 2 seasons with their controversial season finale in season 1. I've heard a lot about this show. I haven't got a chance to see it yet. And the voice cast goes from amazing to holy shit bad, but I've heard good things about the show. So I will have to check that out. And with that, we're losing our crowd. So I'm gonna say good night to everybody and take care.
PC low.